5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Speaking Cinema, serious movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast coming to you from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Earth 199,999, Los Angeles, California. Follow us on Twitter at Speaking Cinema, rate, review, subscribe, listen to us Jibber Jabber every single week on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud. I'm your host, Mr. Jibber Jabber. With me today, arch nemesis Kev. Trusty boy sidekick Matt.
Hello.
If you're new to the podcast, this is Speaking Cinema, where we pick a movie, we talk about it, watch it, talk about it. What are we about? Movies. New, old, mainstream, obscure, no agenda other than that we talk movies.
That we do.
On the agenda today, heroes don't get any bigger than this, Ant-Man from 2015, part 3 of our currently airing series ongoing.
Nice.
Written by Joe Cornish and Edgar Wright, and Paul Rudd and Adam McKay, directed by Peyton Reed. If you're not familiar, several months after the events of the Avengers Age of Ultron, thief Scott Lang must aid his mentor and former hero Dr. Hank Pym in safeguarding the mystery of the Ant-Man technology, which allows its users to decrease in size but increase in strength from various new threats and plot a heist that will save the Earth. We're not doing that again. Ant-Man is the 12th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the second release of the summer. Its predecessor, obviously, Age of Ultron, which we all saw.
Yes, we did.
I believe I saw it with you, Matt.
Oh yeah, we did see that movie.
And this is the end of Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. MCU, guys.
That was my 90s MC name, actually.
And that was the college that Matt went to.
Yep.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is the brainchild of Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. In the mid-90s, with the comic book industry in a slump, Marvel Comics filed for bankruptcy. As they reorganized, they licensed a number of their characters to movie studios. Characters bounced around from various production companies and studios, not limited to Iron Man to Paramount, Ant-Man to Artisan Entertainment, X-Men, Deadpool, and Fantastic Four to Fox, Ghost Rider, Black Widow, and Punisher to Lionsgate, Hulk to Universal, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Thor to Sony, Blade and Iron Man and then Iron Man again to New Line Cinema. Then that Blade movie came out.
They were just wheeling and dealing.
And no one knew what the fuck to do at all. Marvel Studios, the film division, worked with the licensees, the studios, to mix success. Marvel would co-finance and co-produce the films and really had to collaborate with them. According to lore, Marvel Studios made a relatively low profit from these licensing deals. They wanted to get more money and creative control out of the deal. I don't believe in the money thing. I think that they just didn't want to share it anymore. You know, like they're talking about how they made relatively low profit.
Yeah.
But I don't think they made low profit. I think they just realized, like, we could have all of the profit if we just did this all of ourselves.
Well, nobody's made anything good out of their properties either.
I think Sony, Fox, you don't like the Fox X-Men?
Well, the X-Men.
Listen,
Right.
we're not here to be...
We'll dig into that.
We're gonna dig into that later. We're not here to be negative. There's some good X-Men movies in that canon. Some real fucking terrible ones too. But
Yep.
So, Feige realized that they had the rights to make an Avengers team, and he wanted to make individual character movies and crossover events, just like in the comic books. According to him, Kevin Feige, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was inspired by Edgar Wright's initial pitch for Ant-Man in 2006. Taking it back. The MCU kicked off in 2008 with Iron Man. Marvel produced and financed the movies, distributed through Paramount. And the initial deal was that all of the movies would be distributed through Paramount, except for the Hulk movie, which still had rights at Universal. When Marvel was purchased by Disney, Disney had to buy back distribution rights from Paramount in that deal. Which is why in the, I believe, second Iron Man movie and the first Avengers movies, there is a Paramount logo in the beginning.
Makes sense.
Or there was at one point. Originally, the movie that we're going to talk about today, Ant-Man, was in the hands of Edgar Wright, who is a huge fan of Ant-Man. Wright's first pitch back in 2003 for Artisan Entertainment fell on deaf ears, as Artisan wanted a family movie and had no idea what Edgar Wright was talking about. Sometime after that, Edgar got to pitch the idea to Kevin Feige. In 2006, he was hired to direct Ant-Man. Quite some time ago. 9 years.
Yep. This is 2006 was post Dawn of the Shaun of the Dead, pre Hot Fuzz.
Indeed.
Edgar Wright. So.
Indeed. He and Joe Cornish completed the first draft in 2008. 2 more drafts by 2011, with the focus of bringing the character into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with its shared chronology. 2012 saw some test footage at Comic-Con, which I may or may not have watched on YouTube at the time.
Well, that was completely legal, wasn't it?
Yeah. I would say it was illegal. See what I did there, Matt? Mm-hmm. But no one can see this, but Matt's face, impressed. In 2013, Wright set up shop in Burbank, and the film was delayed so he can make The World's End. Also came out in 2013.
Great film.
Paul Rudd was cast as Ant-Man in December of that year. By February 2014, most of the cast was sussed out, along with locations, San Francisco and Georgia, and a director of photography, Bill Pope, who did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, another Edgar Wright joint.
And The Matrix, I believe.
Indeed.
Revolutionary.
Wait, Revolutions or Revolutionary?
No, he was revolutionary.
All right.
The Matrix cinematography.
You saved it.
Yeah. Changed everything. I believe he shot The Matrix Revolutions too, and that's just too bad.
Yeah, we're not going to. It's the Jaws 2 of its day. Cornish and Wright wrote a post-credit scene for Age of Ultron and a 5th draft, which they expected to be the last one. But then, suddenly, in April of 2014, allegedly, Feige tells Cornish and Wright that the studio wants another draft without them having any input on it at all. He's in charge, but there's 3 dudes above him who have veto power, who are like the money guys.
Yep.
Heavy rumor there. Wright does not like the draft that they do without him, and allegedly it's very much more plain, and after another meeting he quits. Soon after, Adam McKay is brought in to rewrite with Paul Rudd, and Peyton Reed is brought in to direct. If this movie opens at number 1, which probably will, it's the 12th.
Not going against much.
Yeah, it's the 12th consecutive Marvel movie to do so, which is quite the feat. You don't think Minions is gonna take it out?
People love those shitty Minions.
I watched that movie yesterday of all days.
What'd you think?
Loved it.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
As of this episode's release, you can find this movie in theaters. Buy your tickets online. Don't show up at the box office to get your tickets. Plug for Fandango.
I like
Movietickets.com. Movietickets.com. AMC.com.
Because now
Go to ArcLight's site.
Arclight.com.
The theaters are getting wise and just making their own sites. They're like, why do we have to go through intermediaries? And they kind of make their own sites to get tickets now.
All right, you guys. Have you heard of this movie? Get into the Q&As.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What do you know about it? What are your thoughts going into this?
Got really excited when they said Edgar Wright was going to do it, and got really sad when he got kicked out, because that was kind of my only really interested stake in it, because I didn't really know Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really, never read an Ant-Man comic.
I could say the same.
He was never in any like the Marvel shows or anything. So
Was not.
So yeah, the idea of Edgar Wright doing, and that test footage was great too. It's like Edgar Wright can do a lot with this concept. And then when he was gone, it made me worried. That's when I first started getting worried about Marvel.
Oh, really?
Because I think if the bean counters take over what they're doing, then the quality is going to drop significantly, I think, for their movies.
Matt, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Oh, I didn't really know a whole lot about it. I knew that it went through all that change with changing directors, and there was, I guess, that backlash against it. But yeah, I don't know anything about Ant-Man. I think I played him on the Lego Marvel Superheroes. That's the first time I actually saw Ant-Man. He seems like a kind of an obscure little character that they're trying to resurrect to test out to see if they can do standalone films for lesser characters. Because they did it with all the other main Avengers, and he was an Avenger at one point. So I think they're trying to see if this works, and if it doesn't work, then they might think about retooling. The other ones are coming out, like I think Black Panther is one that's...
Yep.
So we get lesser characters who they're trying to give their own universe to.
Right. I'm going to say that none of the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe are characters that I liked as a kid. I fucking did not like Thor. Thor in the 90s, comic book wise, boo.
Yep.
Didn't really like Captain America, didn't really like Iron Man, and not that I had anything for or against them, they just weren't my guys. It was all about Spider-Man, Batman's DC, it's all about them, it's all about Wolverine, it's all about Venom. Never gotten the justice he deserves, movie-wise.
Really hasn't.
So there's not really any characters from the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I think are near and dear to my heart. And, they really... I'm a total sucker for this Marvel Cinematic Universe. After Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm down for whatever. Because those characters, and if you're a comic book fan and you disagree with this, fuck you. But those characters are D-list characters. No one fucking like Rocket Raccoon. You didn't grow up with fucking Rocket Raccoon on your bedroom wall, homie. No way.
Nobody did.
So my excitement for Ant-Man is my faith in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's not any allegiance to that character. This is a comic book movie. Did you guys grow up reading comic books?
Off and on. I never really, I like Batman and I like the X-Men. Those are my main two.
Yeah.
And but I didn't really we didn't really have a good comic book store in my hometown.
Oh no, huh?
So we had this place called Gorilla Bob's.
Gorilla Bob's?
And it smelled terrible in there. It smelled like BO and Cheetos, and it was awful.
I don't want to step on Matt's toes because normally Matt comes up next, but I'm gonna jump in right now because my local comic book shop was Big Guys Comics and Cards, and that place smelled like ramen. Do you ever go to Big Guys?
I remember it being called Comics and Cards.
It was over by Burger King on El Camino.
Yeah,
Talking Mountain View talk here.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. I mean, what comic book place doesn't smell like garbage?
I would say our local comic book shop here on Sunset Boulevard, Meltdown.
Meltdown, yeah.
Meltdown Comics does not smell like
Yeah.
anything other than paper.
It seems more of an unconventional comic book store. It is not like there's a couple in Pasadena where. Oh boy.
I can't speak. Listen, I can't speak for the Pasadena one, so we're gonna have to go with what you say about
There's
it.
always just one guy who talks at the cashier, and it's just it's upsetting.
Yeah, the locals, homie, the locals. Also, I also put over Golden Apple comic books. I think on Melrose in L.A.
Oh yeah.
Also, does not smell like ramen or bo or what did yours smell like? How would you summarize that bouquet?
It's just it reeks of desperation and what's that?
Peanuts.
Impacting peanuts, yeah, because that's an apt assessment of what that place smells like.
So
packing peanuts in desperation.
So Matt, did you grow up reading comics?
You know, I grew up associating with everything but comic books. You know, played the comic video games, had the comic book character trading cards, and get some Marvel.
The Marvel masterpieces, bro.
Yep.
That's a
Hundreds of dollars just sitting in the closet somewhere.
hot ticket that was. Oh, I think I had like Series 4, but that's neither here nor there. But it was everything. I never actually bought comic books. I never as a kid, reading seems like the most lame shit in the world. when you're a kid and you could either be playing Donkey Kong Country or you could be reading. What are you gonna pick? That's why I say to you.
I'm gonna not to get off topic. Not a huge fan of Donkey Kong Country.
What?
I'm not good at 2D platformers. I'm just not good at it. Matt, very good at it.
Well, let's get back to the point here.
Okay, let's get back to the point. So I did buy comic books for a while, like Matt in our collective childhood. Much more into the toys, much more into the comic books, much more into video games, much more into the lore of it. Mm-hmm. The actual physical comic book I was into for a couple of years, but I never really, as a stupid kid, I never really understood like, oh, you have to go every month, and then some books are bi-monthly, and like the idea of like 2 months was like, that's like a million years, you know what I mean? So I have a bizarre collection of one long box of comic books in my childhood bedroom. I do have a WCW comic book where Sting fights Cactus Jack. Prize possession.
Really?
I had at one point the death of Superman. I do not know what happened to that.
Like the 10th time he died?
No, the first time he died.
Okay.
The first time he died, yeah.
I remember somebody in my kindergarten class brought that in, and it was like, damn, that's some heavy shit to be bringing into kindergarten.
Yeah, I'm like 10 right now. I don't got time for Superman dying.
Yeah.
The 90s were just super grisly.
Yeah.
They're like, who gives a shit? And then I think now that hopefully they've tried to like retcon everything to make it not a mess.
Well, that's the different universes. So like every time the lore gets too heavy, they'll just start it. So there's in both the DC and the Marvel universe, they have parallel universes. So there's like Earth 1, which is like the first era of comic books, the golden age, and then there's like Earth 2 and Earth whatever. So like recently DC has the New 52. That's their newest universe. So it's like, you know,
It's a get out of jail free card, so they don't have to explain.
Yeah,
really
I kind of like it though.
Taking a playbook from a J.J. Abrams playbook.
Well, the comic books have been doing that forever.
I know,
JJ
but I'm
Abrams
just
copied them.
it's a joke.
But I do like it because you're not getting rid of. You're not pulling a George Lucas and getting rid of the old shit. The old shit exists. It's over there.
Yeah.
Here's the new shit. It's over here. pick what you want, but do the new shit because we need to pay the bills.
Exactly.
This is a comic movie. Fan of this Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yes and no.
Ooh,
I'm starting to see the cracks in these recent ones.
elaborate.
So, I think they're getting way too focused on just. It's like you're seeing movies to go see the next movie.
True.
I feel like these are getting more and more. They can't stand on their own. And I thought Age of Ultron was the biggest culprit of that. I felt they spent more time in that movie setting up new movies than telling their actual Ultron story. And it really suffered for that, I think.
Yeah,
so they gotta. I said that those first three, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man, are just really good standalone movies that also do a little bit of that, like, oh, we're gonna build this into something else.
Hulk? Fan of Hulk?
Incredible Hulk's not bad.
Alright.
That Ang Lee Hulk.
I'm gonna go on the record and say I
out of
like Ang Lee's Hulk better than the Edward Norton Hulk.
I'm gonna say, respectfully, with respect, you're fucking crazy.
I'm not saying those movies are by any means great, but I don't know, for some reason, I don't know, maybe I just take Ang Lee's side because he's a decent director. he did what he could.
You were a fan of the poodle Hulks? The poodle Hulks?
It's been a long time I've seen it.
I think when you revisit it, it's gonna be a very, very harsh awakening. MCU? Fan of that?
Yeah, it's entertaining. I'm not a hardcore nerd.
Nerd.
Comic book nerd. So I take them for what they are. They're entertainment. I don't like. This is a trend in all action movies where the action and the plot and the story arc are so clockwork that okay, now it's going to be a big fight, and then you got a little lull. Oh, there's a big fight, and it happens all at the same times when you watch the movie, in the 2-hour movie. And that gets kind of boring, but you can't fault them for that. They're just trying to entertain people. So I enjoy them. They're entertaining. They're fun. I like the Captain America. This is good.
I am very into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I do think it's fun. I do agree with you guys in some ways. I think that every villain is gonna destroy the world for some reason, question mark reason. Like who are you and why? But I do think that they're the strongest when they step out of their genre. So I think Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, is like it's kind of a spy thriller. And I think that's like the best movie of the whole canon, because it steps outside of its superhero-ness, you know what I mean? And I think Guardians of the Galaxy is the same way, because it's more of it's taking the thing to space. So you're having a superhero movie hybrid with something else, so sci-fi or whatever. I do think that Guardians is the most guilty of this, where it's like, wait, what did the bad guy want again? To destroy something because what? But it doesn't matter because the movie's so fucking fun.
Exactly.
And I do think that they've keyed into something. So I am down until what I think the latest movie's gonna come out is scheduled for 2022. So I'm down. They got my money until 2022.
You're locked in.
I'm locked in. I'd pre-buy those tickets if I was able.
All right.
I'm not. Fandango, work on that. So this is a comic book movie. There's two major comic book companies: Marvel, DC, Disney, Warner's. One is Fun in the Sun, Marvel. The other one is Harsh Darkness, I would say, DC. Do you guys have a preference of one style over the other?
I mean, you can do. It depends on the hero, I think. Whoever is in the middle of it. Like, you can do. Batman wouldn't work as Fun in the Sun, I don't think.
You don't like the Batman 77 show? 66 Batman? The TV Batman.
That show is stupid.
What? I love that show.
That show is so campy.
I love it. That's my two favorite Batmans are that one and the Christopher Nolan Batman, which could not be more different.
But I just think it takes the right tone, but I don't like the blanket approach to it. Like, Marvel, everything's going to be, Fun in the Sun, like, this is just a goofy little hero movie. And it works so far for the ones they have. Mm-hmm. DC is trying to, like, force feed this dark, gritty thing on every hero that they have right now. It worked for Batman. It failed miserably for Superman. Yes. I think. Yes. I think it's going to fail miserably again with Batman versus Superman.
Interesting.
Not looking forward to that.
Not looking forward to that. Kevin. Matt? Fun in the Sun? Heart of Darkness?
Oh, that's a hard one. Because it's the only thing I like from DC is the Batman movies. That's it. Everything else is whatever. And Marvel's sort of the same way. There's certain Marvel movies that are fun. I guess I'll lean towards Marvel.
Yeah, so you like what they're doing.
Yeah, they're having more fun with it. But at the same time, when you take some standalone Marvel movies, they kind of they don't land like Thor and Hulk and one and a half of the Iron Mans. You know, I
one and a half of the three.
one yeah. One of them is solid. I don't know which one that is. I'm just gonna go and generalize that one of them sure is pretty solid. I like the third one; it's fun. But
you picked the third one over the first one. Crazy talk.
The first
But
okay,
I respect you.
I'll take half of the first. I'll take half of the third one.
Half the first one.
Half the first one,
and half of the second one.
Yeah.
So just a little slice of pie from each of them.
I'll take all three of them, put them together, and there you go. Wasn't Jeff Bridges in one of them?
He was in the first one.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Obadiah Stane.
Who was back on the second one?
That was Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Oh yeah, it's Whiplash.
And then we had Guy Pearce in the third one.
Killing it.
Yep.
I'm going to say that on the whole, I like the Marvel Universe better, but I think it comes down to coherent vision, right?
Agreed.
Kevin Feige and his team and all the writers and all the directors are supremely aware that, like, listen, homie, you're making an Iron Man movie, but Iron Man exists in a world with Hulk and Thor and all these other dudes. So if it comes up, we're going to bring it up, and sometimes we're all going to meet up, and sometimes we're going to really meet up and make an Avengers movie. And I feel like there's really bad leadership with the. I like the idea of a dark, gritty comic book. I like the idea of violent comic books. I think that, like, the Punisher would make a good villain and a good hero, good anti-hero, perhaps. And I think that the DC is not. I don't think the idea of doing a darker superhero universe is a bad idea, especially in the day that we live in now, with, anti-heroes being a popular thing on television, etc., etc., etc. I think that Zack Snyder. I don't know. He's good at the visuals, but he's not really good at, like, the story, the tone, the stakes. You know what I mean? And I think that the Green Lantern movie was made with no concept at all of this being part of a bigger thing. I think that it comes down to vision. I think that DC doesn't have it, and I may live to regret this, but I did see the Batman vs Superman trailer. I did see the Suicide Squad trailer, and those trailers did make me excited. So I'm gonna go see those movies. I may lose, probably $30 on those tickets and be really fucking pissed off afterwards. But I do think that they're learning from their mistakes. Don't know if they've learned enough.
I'm going to go and say if both of those movies suck, DC doesn't get any more of my money.
I will agree with that statement. Yeah, this is ride or die right now.
Yeah,
because
Man of Steel was a mess.
Yeah,
absolute goddamn mess.
Yeah.
If you can't do something good with Batman and Superman, you don't know what you're doing. And then Suicide Squad already, I was not excited when I saw that trailer.
Really? No?
Just really not looking forward to it.
Not a fan of sexy Harley Quinn?
No. It really, sexy Harley Quinn. Come on now. That's good. But
don't like your girls crazy, Kev? Like him? We're learning something about Kev right now. He likes him rational. We're moving on.
Arkham Asylum Harley Quinn. Hot. This one, weird.
Interesting.
It's got messy makeup.
Matt, like him crazy? Crazy or normal? Or not normal. Crazy or whatever. No comment?
Like him real?
Real. You don't like fictional characters, huh?
No. Not into animated boobs.
Oh boy.
All right. So
Moving on.
So this is a comic book movie. We talked about Ant-Man a little bit. None of us really. I think for me personally, I was really interested in Edgar Wright. I'm a big fan of Edgar Wright. So him leaving was a very big disappointment. Kev, I think you're on the same boat here.
Agreed.
Matt, are you familiar with Edgar Wright?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his movies.
What?
Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and Spaced, his TV series.
Spaced is a great show.
So would you say that you're a fan of him, and are you disappointed? And if such, are you disappointed that he was gone?
It's more indifferent because I think that he could have made it really interesting based on what I've seen of his, but I'm not losing sleep over it.
Yeah, you're not mourning his.
No, it's like okay,
you're not part of that internet outrage that was like,
no,
Marvel's dead to me. One for Avengers, please.
Exactly.
No, I did not. I did not lose sleep or cry over that, and it happens. You want someone who did direct it and they don't, and then you get someone else who's directing it, whoever that is, some guy.
Peyton Reed.
I
just think Edgar Wright got kind of boned because he was really the first guy to be like, as soon as Marvel said, "Oh, we're gonna do these movies on our own," he was the first guy at the door with an Ant-Man script, and like worked hard on it and really like through the years, and then Marvel just got too big for their britches and then tried to push him around and got out. I just thought he got a bum deal.
Well, famously though, they when they audition people, they make them sign a contract for how much money you're going to make going into it. They're very tight with this whole thing. And in some ways, that's shitty. I'm sure for the artist it's shitty, but for the consumer, right? We get a coherent vision of a combined universe, and you know, it's worked so far. But they're very much so. These are Marvel movies, and Kevin Feige is like the guy in charge, and then the directors and the writers and everything is following his lead, which is quite unusual.
But I would say Edgar got in before all that.
Yeah.
Before the money got too big. So it's, you know, it's going to be one of those great movie what ifs, I think. What if Edgar Wright did it?
Do you remember there's the What If comic books?
No.
Do you remember this? Mm-mm. So there was What If comic books. So like something would happen in the so they'd be like, what if Wolverine killed the Hulk, or like what if? So there'd be seminal moments in the Marvel universe, and then they would do these like one shot what if, like what if it didn't happen that way, and they would do something. So what if we got a what if Edgar Wright? What if the movie's called What If Edgar Wright directed Ant-Man, and it's his Ant-Man? Would you watch that?
I'd watch it.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Can we all agree that Ant-Man is a D-list character?
Absolutely. He controls ants and is small.
That's kind of a cool power. You can shrink down, and you can have increased strength. It's kind of better than fucking.
Just like an ant, it can lift 3 times its own
Yeah, but
weight.
ant weighs like fucking nothing.
Yeah. But
So
that's
what's
impressive
100
about
times
it.
of nothing? I ask you.
Well, literally,
Nothing.
it is nothing.
Wait, what was the question?
Ant-Man is a
D-list,
D-list character.
D-list,
So you
like-
like his powers, so that's good.
I like his powers.
Right.
It's interesting. An interesting concept. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I just think that
like D-list.
I just think that D-list is right.
Was he ever in Marvel vs. Capcom? I don't think he ever was.
Ant-Man, no.
He was in Lego Marvel Superheroes, which, you know, they have all the shitty characters. They have Ketchup Man in that too, so this doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they love to tout the fact that I have 9,000 superheroes, but it's like maybe 50 of them are worth anything, and then the rest of them are just total garbage. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Rubber Man, you're dead to me. When I say D-list, I mean that he doesn't have a recognized name like Captain America or Spider-Man or Iron Man or the Hulk or Thor. Those are more. If someone said, Spider-Man, you know what Spider-Man looks like. If I said Ant-Man, I think of Paul Rudd right now. I don't know what he looks like in the comic books. You know what I mean?
I think he was just. I'm trying to remember.
Also, for the listener at home, Matt is making about an inch and a half with his fingers. So I believe what you're looking for is that he was very small.
I think he was. I think if I remember in the comic book, and I'm probably totally wrong, but he was. Quiet you. There was he wore like a motocross helmet and had like a leotard on, if I remember correct. I could be completely making this up, but that's what I think of when I think of Ant-Man. And maybe little antennas on his helmet.
I would hope so. I would.
Well,
so.
and whenever he was created, in like the 60s, right? When he first appeared, I'm sure that they were not paying that much. They were like, "Oh, Ant-Man, fucking run with it."
No, they were back into paying attention in the 60s, I think. Right?
I don't know. Like, have you seen early, what's it called? Early Green Lantern. This looks like a guy in a green leotard.
Yeah, well, that's
a green onesie, I should say.
Yeah, but that's like, yeah. That's fair. Kevin Feige keeps saying that there's a reason why this movie is the end of Phase 2. So, obviously, from our vantage point right now, it being 11 o'clock in the morning and we're going to go see a noon screening in 3D, we're not going to know if that's true or not. So, let's revisit that when we record the second half.
On it.
Peyton Reed directed Bring It On and The Breakup. You guys familiar with him, and does that help or hurt the movie?
Bring It On is a great movie. I don't care what anybody says.
You're a big fan of that Bring It On?
Bring It On, it's a well-written script. It's well made. It's, I mean, he's good at when he's got, what am I trying to say?
Cheerleaders?
With cheerleaders. That was just a good, tight script. And, like, you don't have to do a whole lot of work when you got a good script, I think. So.
Mm-hmm. Also, speaking of the script, shout out Jessica Benninger. Shout out. Wrote that script. Jessica Benninger. Follow her on Twitter, guys.
There you go.
Matt, Peyton Reed?
Never even heard of him. And I've never seen Bring It On or The Breakup. So I really have no idea what this person is bringing.
I am with you. I've seen Bring It On back probably on VHS back in like 2001. didn't really like it. I was in high school at the time. Moved about cheerleaders. I was more into like skateboarding and songs about blood and Satan. So it wasn't really my game at the moment. I do like it I do like the idea of giving people a chance to break out of like this guy has never made anything that has action in it. They're giving him a big action movie, and I like that. I don't like it when people get pigeonholed. I want to see what artists can bring to the table.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I think that that'll be cool.
He also directed. I was looking at his IMDb. He did the Weird Al show.
Oh.
His brief foray into a TV show, and a lot of location segments for the great HBO sketch comedy show, Mr. Show, with Bob and David. So there you go.
So you got some favoritism over here.
Yeah. And Peyton, I got nothing against Peyton Reed.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything against him yet. We'll see what happens after we see this movie. I may be singing him from. We might be praising him to the hilltops. I might be throwing him in a ditch. We'll find out. So let's just get into some rapid fire here, then we'll get out of here and fucking go watch this movie. Maybe get some lunch, guys. Chipotle?
Getting hungry. Chipotle is good.
All right.
Where's Chipotle?
Well, we'll take this off air.
Everywhere on the planet, there's a Chipotle.
Right. So, rapid fire. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Marvel, come on. Come on, guys.
Exactly. Come on.
Black Cat or Black Widow?
Black Widow.
Which one's Black Cat?
She's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Villainess.
I'll go with her, Black Cat, since I don't know who she is. I don't really like Black Widow. She's kind of, especially in the
movies.
The movies, yeah, with Scarlett Johansson. It's kind of whatever. So I'll take Black Cat.
I'm on team Black Widow. Black Widow, Kev.
Yeah, Black Widow.
Keaton, Kilmer, or Clooney?
Kilmer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Clooney for this reason only. He knew it was a piece of shit. He went in doing the best he could, and then he publicly apologized. So that takes a man.
I would like to say none of them, but I'm gonna go with Keaton just to be the third pick. So I'm doing it, because of those three dudes, his ones were the best. But shame on him.
I never felt he was a good Bruce Wayne.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'll save this for the Batman episode, but I'm gonna go ahead and say I really didn't like. At the time, I liked all of these movies, but in retrospect, I don't like any of those Batman movies.
I like Batman Returns. That's the best one.
Not into it.
All right.
West, Affleck, or Bale?
Bale.
Yeah, Bale. Well, it's Affleck. We don't even know what he's gonna do.
You saw the trailer, homie. You saw the trailer.
I didn't see the trailer.
All right, well then he is not a choice for you. I'm gonna go and say Bale as well, but it was very difficult, and I do like Adam West's take on Batman.
I mean, Adam West is fun,
Yeah.
so don't get me wrong.
Reeves, Ruth, or Cavill?
Neither.
Or none of them?
None of them.
Damn.
Oh, these are Superman.
These are Superman. Yes.
Or no, not Superman. They're Superman.
They're Supermen.
Superman's.
The Supermens.
Superman. No,
Just pick one.
Reeves.
I'm gonna go with Ruth. I think that movie is underrated, and Brandon Ruth.
Ralph.
Ralph, whatever. I think that movie was his portrayal in that movie is underrated. That movie was terrible, but he was good in it.
Superman is a
Keep the faith
boring
alive
character.
Yeah.
He's boring.
We'll save that one for the Superman episode.
Right.
We're gonna do one for Batman vs Superman. You know we're gonna. Yeah.
Okay.
Begrudgingly, we will. Can Spider-Man be black and or gay?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
why not?
Peter Parker should not be. Just make it a new character who can take on the Spider-Man mantle. Peter Parker is established. He's a white kid who goes to high school. You can have anybody else become Spider-Man, I think.
Matt, Peter Parker, Miles Morales, some third gay guy that we don't name yet.
Ooh, yeah, he can be black and or gay, but I just want to piggyback what Kevin was saying, because although I think that Peter Parker can be black or gay, but I think that doing that, then you get the backlash against the people, the racist comic book and sci-fi nerds who are
Sci-fi nerds are dismissive and racist? No. Wait, you're right. They are. I've checked into it just now.
shocking. So I think Spider-Man can be black or gay.
I'm gonna say. Oh, good.
What do we think about Stan Lee just said, if you want to do that, just make a new character.
I think that's dumb. I think Stan Lee. Listen, he's a 90-year-old man, and I respect him. But shut the fuck up, Stan Lee, because no one gives a shit about any of the new characters. There's no character that's been made after like 1980 that anyone gives a fuck about.
Yep.
Like, what? No. You know what I mean? Like, we like all the old ones, and we see ourselves in all the old ones. You know what I mean? Like, I am not a white kid from New York with no parents who's raised by his aunt, but somehow, some way,
And his uncle. Uncle Ben.
and I do not have any family members who were killed through murder, but somehow we all relate to him. You know what I mean? I think there's a magic in that people see themselves in these characters, and to create a new character, it's like, why would we do that? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that Stan Lee was just being an old man. That was his old man moment. Rare for Stan Lee. Didn't like it. I do think that Spider-Man can be black or gay or whatever, because they always reinvent these characters, right? There's the Silver Age versions and the Gold Age versions and the 80s versions and the 90s versions, and we always reboot these universes. So if you're going to reboot the universe, why not expand it more than just white guys who are, you know what I'm saying? Like, women, I think there's, to tangent horribly here, women dress up as male characters at Comic-Con, and people are very dismissive of this, but there's a beauty to that in that these women see themselves in these male characters. And so it's like, you could serve that in a way that's more legitimate than just rehashing the same shit over and over and over again. Which is why, spoiler alert, I'm not looking forward to this new Spider-Man movie, because it's going to be the same shit as it always is. Does anyone want to respond to my race rant here? Or?
Completely agree with the new Spider-Man movie. Not being excited.
Okay, so if they took Hal Jordan and then turned him black and kept the same name, I mean, but then would that be like sort of the same thing? But then they made Jon Stewart as the second coming of the Green Lantern,
right? Which works storytelling wise.
So I think you can get away with having maybe Peter Parker's black gay friend
become Spider-Man.
Give him the ants or the spider serum, wherever the fuck it happens.
Yeah, bitten by a radioactive spider. I could sing a song, but I won't. It would just be saying Spider-Man in a robotic voice over and over again. Spider-Man. Remember that? Remember that cartoon?
I remember the Spider-Man cartoon. There was like a swastika in it. It was really weird.
We'll save that for the discussion.
From the 80s, there was like, they find a temple and there's literally a giant swastika on it. And I'm like,
wow.
What?
Was it a Nazi temple? So
could have been a Sanskrit temple.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can make a to comment on what you said, if you can make a good story out of anything, you can make a good story out of anything, right? If you have the next Green Lantern is a black guy, that works, right? But I just think that these characters are not set in stone, and the powers change, the outlooks on things change. The original Batman, there's comic books of the original Batman where he's using a gun. You know what I mean? And then they make that a very part of his character that he doesn't use guns. And then they make it a part of his character that he won't kill anyone. And I'm sure in the future he will kill someone or something. So I feel like we have ownership over these characters more than people give it credit for. They're not set in stone. Avengers or X-Men?
Ooh, X-Men.
X-Men. Yeah. Wolverine or Cyclops?
Wolverine.
Yeah, come on.
Cyclops is a puss.
Spider-Man or Daredevil?
I'm going with Daredevil on this one. Daredevil.
Yeah, I'll go with Daredevil.
I'm also going to go with Daredevil. Watch that Daredevil show on Netflix. Really liked it.
It's quite good.
There hasn't been a good Spider-Man movie in 5 movies, so
yeah.
Yikes.
I would argue.
Or 4 movies.
5 movies. You're right.
I would argue there has not been a good Spider-Man movie.
We're not talking Spider-Man. I did like Spider-Man 2. You guys did not like any of them. Didn't like Spider-Man 2.
Never latched on to any of those.
It was Superman 2, but with spiders.
Venom or Carnage?
Venom. Carnage is too crazy. Too over the top.
He's just full of carnage.
Venom is just like scary.
Yeah, I like Venom. He's cool.
Yeah, we all like Venom.
Yeah.
He's Venom. Marvel or Capcom?
Capcom.
Yeah, Capcom.
I'm gonna go Marvel. Capcom's they haven't been too hot lately, but rooting for them. Come back, guys.
Sure, come on.
Make a good game. Hulk, red, green, or gray?
Green.
Wasn't he purple at one point?
Was he purple at one point? No, he was gray at one point.
I'll
He had the purple pants.
Yeah.
I'll take a regular.
Purple on purple.
I'll take the regular Hulk, the green Hulk.
I'm gonna say it would be ridiculous if you had purple pants and purple skin. That's ridiculous. I'll go with gray just to be a dissenter. Why not?
Do it.
I don't really have anything for Hulk, pro or con.
There was a good PlayStation 2 game that was all just about Hulk smashing things.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
that
true.
game was quite fun.
Do you guys have a favorite superhero and superhero movie?
Favorite superhero, Batman. I think overall, I just like his rogue gallery is the best. He tends to have the best stories. Favorite superhero movie, I'm gonna go with Hellboy.
Damn.
I really like Guillermo del Toro's vision of Hellboy, and a very different kind of superhero. I really enjoy those Hellboy movies.
I am shocked.
My favorite superhero is Hawk Girl.
You'll be very excited that the Legends of Tomorrow TV show is going to have Hawk Girl in it. CW. Check it out this fall, guys. You got what you wanted and you hate it immediately.
Well,
Favorite superhero movie?
this is a hard one. I don't know.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say my favorite superhero has to be Batman for all the reasons that Kev said. Just if you want that information, just 15 seconds back and you'll... I think my favorite movie is The Dark Knight, but special shout out to Punisher Warzone, which is a fucking bonkers movie. Fucking bonkers. And I want to do it for this podcast because it is just over here, over there, bonkers.
I mean, I'll talk about it. I got words.
Does anyone have a least favorite superhero they want to get into?
Superman.
I agree.
Worst? I mean, there's a lot of bad ones.
Superman is just so goddamn boring.
I mean, if we're talking about the big ones, I'll say Thor. I think
Don't like Thor, huh?
Thor's a fag.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Taking it there, Matt. Taking it there.
Does anyone get that reference?
No.
Or no, it was Thor's a homo.
Did you do it right?
Yeah. Well,
Should we just move on and pretend that none of this happened? Or
if you've seen Adventures in Babysitting, then you'll get the joke.
I have not seen it.
I've never seen that movie.
All right, then.
All right. So we're gonna play What This Movie really quick, and then we'll get out of here. Just say you like it, you love it, you hate it.
Did we just do that?
No, we did the questions, then we do What This Movie.
Okay. All right.
Ready?
Matt's new to this format.
Yeah, Matt's new to the show, guys. This is the first episode. Wait, what? And the theme of this one is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Surprise, surprise.
Shocking.
Iron Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Got a quick funny story about Iron Man. I saw it wearing a tuxedo. Because we went right after my friend's wedding, and we had paid for the tuxedos, and we said, we're wearing these all fucking day. And me and my 3 friends went and saw it.
Did they get married? Did you go to a late night showing, or did the guys get married in the morning?
We went to a late show.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but we were all in our tuxedos.
Hit the midnight show in your tuxedo, Matt. You're a classy man.
Yep. It was, so yeah, that movie will always have a special place in my heart.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it's okay.
No.
I liked it. Iron Man 2.
Has good parts, overall not good.
That's all right.
Revisited. I would have said I did not like it. Revisited it recently on cable. Totally enjoyed that movie. I don't know what the
I
disconnect
mean,
was.
I definitely didn't hate it the way a lot of people did, so enjoyed it.
Thor.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Captain America, the first Avenger.
Yes.
Yes.
Really liked that movie. Thought it was solid.
Give Joe Johnson that Boba Fett movie. God
Give
damn
it to him.
to Joe Johnson.
No, he's after that Jurassic Park movie, he should be reevaluated.
Wait,
Captain
you like
America-
Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park 3?
No, that movie's terrible.
Oh, sorry.
But Captain America came out
Yeah.
after that.
I can't defend Jurassic Park 3.
He has to do penance before I can take on
Not enough penance for Matt.
take on a
Do a
franchise.
rosary and make an indie darling. The Avengers.
Yes, very much yes.
Yeah, that's all right.
Loved it. Iron Man 3.
Yes. Good Shane Black moments in that movie.
Oh, well, yeah, it's enjoyable.
I liked it. A little goofy, but I liked it.
Best part is the henchman who's like, I don't care. They're so weird.
Yeah.
That was inspired.
Yeah.
So,
Little human moment there.
yeah.
Thor: The Dark World.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Very much yes. That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I will say very much yes as well, and I will issue an apology to Kevin. I was late to the screening that we went to, and we had to sit in the front row, and it was fucking awful.
It was an adventure.
And the guy was eating popcorn like a horse. I'm not going to get into that story anymore than that. He was eating popcorn like a horse eating oats.
I witnessed it. It's true.
You see Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Loved it. Avengers: Age of Ultron.
No. Did not like it.
It was okay.
I liked it. It was a little bit rushed, but I liked it. Now, what this movie? Lightning Round, Future Edition, Captain America: Civil War.
Yes.
The question is, are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Totally looking forward to it. I think this is gonna reinvent the wheel a little bit when they turn the guys against each other.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Looking forward to that. Doctor Strange.
No.
No.
Looking forward to it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yes.
I'm intrigued.
Yes. Untitled Spider-Man film.
No.
Nope.
Hard no. Thor Ragnarok.
Yes. Mild, yes.
Nope.
I'm gonna say yes. And Ragnarok, for those of us who are listening to a lot of death metal, was when all of the Asgardian gods die. So I'm very intrigued onto what's gonna happen here.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Avengers: Infinity War Part 1.
Mild, yes. I'm curious about the director change.
Nah.
I'm gonna say hard yes. Totally looking forward to that. Black Panther.
Really not interested.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, so no.
Yes. I'm in this, guys. I'm in it to win it. Captain Marvel.
I'm holding out for the casting, so I'll say no.
No.
I'm gonna say hard yes because I think this is when they're gonna start merging Guardians of the Galaxy with the people on Earth. That's my prediction. We'll see if we're right. 2019. We'll see if I'm right.
God, we're locked in for this.
Yeah, I
God.
am locked in and seated in an upright position. Avengers: Infinity War Part 2.
If part 1's good, I'm all for it.
Meh.
Will Thanos finally be the great Marvel villain?
He will, and I'm totally down for it. I think.
I'm hoping so.
And then last wrapping this up in 2022, Inhumans.
2022?
I don't know if it's still 22. It might be though. Inhumans.
Really don't even know who they are.
I don't.
so.
Yeah, what is that? Whatever. I'm gonna say no.
They're basically the mutants, but Marvel can't call them mutants, so they're basically the mutants.
All right.
If you watch the Shield show, you would know the Inhumans. If you don't watch the Shield show, I can't really blame you. It's very boring. I'm down. I'm hard into this, dude. And if I watch all these other fucking movies, I might as well watch the sequel to them, right?
You don't have to.
I have to. I want to. Damn it! Is there any heroes that you want for Phase 4? Any faves that you guys want them to bust out? Fantasy booking here.
You know, I really don't have anybody in mind. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know who's left. I mean,
6,000 other D-list fucking.
There's some characters I want to see come out in DC, but
Not in Marvel.
not in Marvel.
Yeah, I'm kind of after all these obscure ones that they're gonna do. I'm pretty much down for whatever they give me. You know, I have drinking this Kool-Aid. I have taken the packet out, I'm lined it up on the table, and I'm snorting it.
I hope post Avengers they do get some more interesting filmmakers and let them make these really interesting kind of movies with these. Some really good standalone films. Because right now they're again, this is what I'm worried about. I feel like they're whitewashing a lot.
Well, that's what Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel are for, but we'll see what happens.
See what happens.
We'll see what happens, and I'll be there.
I know you will.
Thank
You're
you.
locked in.
All right, so that wraps it up for this very long intro. I think we did good work here, guys.
It's time to, we're going to the Cinerama Dome and see Ant-Man in 3D.
Yep.
So this is going to be exciting.
Yeah, sounds great. Let's do this. Here we go.
And we're back.
We're back.
Just went down the street, saw Ant-Man in the dome, 3D. Not gonna ask you guys how I saw it. I just told you. Were you listening? So,
We were
Ant-Man. Did anyone want to say? Can anyone sum up this movie?
Plot summary.
Plot summary, quickly.
Man becomes ant. Ant fights bad guy.
Too
rough.
yeah, a little bit too rough.
I mean, when you get down to it, it's
That's what it would be on, like, when it's on cable in the info box. That's what it would say.
yeah. I mean,
So Scott Lang gets out of prison, trying to provide for his daughter, who, and now he's a felon, so he can't. Hilarious Baskin-Robbins scene ensues. Gets offered to be Ant-Man by Hank Pym, who was a superhero in the, not specifically mentioned, but probably 60s and 70s.
It seemed like it was a little earlier than that.
I think, whatever.
Yeah.
50s?
Anyways, yeah, probably.
Post-World War II.
Yeah.
Gets offered to be Ant-Man because the company that he started, Pym Industries, is developing a Ant-Man-like suit and is going to sell it into the military-industrial complex, and that needs to be stopped because life would be chaos if everyone could just run around being little tiny ant-men, controlling ants, having super strength, etc., etc. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's a good summary.
yeah, he's an ant and a man. Ant-Man. Go ahead.
So, what'd you guys think?
I wasn't a big fan of this one, unfortunately.
Ooh,
I
damn.
really wasn't.
Matt?
It's enjoyable. It's cute, fun. Nothing at all spectacular, but I mean, there's parts that were spectacular, but for the most part, it was fun. A fun, nice little romp.
And I thought it was spectacular. So,
All right.
real dissent in the crowd here. Kev, what was your problem with the movie?
First big issue for me is 3D.
Okay, well,
So
that's. I mean,
yeah. I'm getting this out of the way first because it doesn't have much to do with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But one, those glasses hurt my nose.
So I think they're called the. We had okay. So we're gonna get into, this is our backdoor pilot for our real 3D podcast. So there's expands with the I think an X and maybe a Z glasses, which are the red thick ones that flicker that have a battery in the front. Those are the ones that we had at the ArcLight.
Yep.
Those are supposed to be the best 3D, although I find them to be the most tinty, if that's a word I could use, tinty.
Yeah.
It looks like we were in a fucking pair of sunglasses. And they're very heavy. And I will agree with you, my nose kind of felt sore at the end of the movie, which is like the most first world problem that you could probably ever have in the history of the universe.
I got a zit on my nose from those damn glasses.
Oh, Jesus. Matt, what'd you think about the 3D glasses? And the 3D experience as a whole?
Did not mind the glasses.
Did not mind the glasses?
Did not mind the glasses. 3D experience. It was fun. Didn't add a whole lot, but it was still fun.
Okay, back to Kev.
I just felt like in any scene that wasn't action, the background just looked completely like disassociated with what was going on. It was really fuzzy, and it made all the edges around the actors fuzzy, at least for me, and it distracted me the whole time. Watch it.
It's-
That's the post 3D conversion issue I've always had and always will have.
It's tough about the background because that could have been artistic choice because to make the idea of scale. So we're gonna have to pause this podcast and go back and watch it in 2D and compare and contrast. So you guys, let's wrap this up. See us, and then we'll take a pause here and go see it. No, both no. Okay.
We'll see. Yeah,
no. We'll table that for later.
Movie wise, story wise, I felt like it was just kind of pedestrian. You know, you have this really cool concept, and the whole time, and I hate that I know that Edgar Wright was gonna do this because the whole time it was nagging me like Edgar Wright could have made a lot of these scenes really special, and it just didn't come across with Peyton Reed. He's a solid director, but he just didn't have the chops to really pull off some of the big action. I don't think that was really where I had a lot of the issue with. It was fun for the most part, but it could have been really cool and really innovative, and I just don't think he had the chops to do it. I just know Edgar Wright could have pulled it off. So that was always in the back of my mind the entire movie.
Harsh but fair.
I like to hear somebody's perspective who didn't know, or like doesn't care about Edgar Wright, or doesn't know who he is and didn't know that this was a whole thing.
Let's
Pass it over to
yeah,
me.
let's just take a little.
We just happen to have one.
Yeah, let's just take a little check over here on the couch, Matt.
From what I know of Edgar Wright, his humor is very British, if you will.
Extremely.
Yeah, it's not British. It's more British.
You gotta roll those R's. You get the real humor of the British, and his humor is very irreverent, very wacky. If you've seen anything else he's done, it's
Scott Pilgrim and
well, I saw that one, but
Spaced.
Spaced.
yeah, like I mentioned before, Spaced or Hot Fuzz or Shaun of the Dead. They're very wacky movies. Like when they're throwing in Shaun of the Dead, when they're throwing the records at the zombies, and they're like, no, that one, that's like a really rare like electro record. And so this one, like, oh yeah, this one. It's a lot of fun, and I saw some jokes that seemed like Edgar Wright kind of permeate through the movie.
Anything come to mind?
I can feel the Cure joke where they're playing Disintegration on the phone. That seems like a very Edgar Wright joke.
I'm going to say that's one of my, just really quick, I'm going to say one of my favorite moments in this whole movie, and maybe even in all of these movies, is they're shrunken down men in a briefcase falling out of a helicopter, and as they bounce around, one of them hits his foot on the Siri button for the iPhone, and then it starts playing The Cure.
Well, he says, I will disintegrate you. And she says, playing Disintegration by The Cure.
That moment was just like, what a wacky world we live in.
So yeah, that
Cheerio.
I will agree that whole third act, which we'll get to break down more. The third act is really good, and I feel that that's very. I think they kept that. If I read right, they kept that from Edgar Wright's script. And that was
Spoiler alert.
inspired.
I agree with you.
Yep. But I don't know, just again, Edgar Wright, apart from his sense of humor, his filmmaking chops are really strong. and he's very inspired, like cuts and camera moves. And I think he would have really made the action scenes come to life, and Peyton Reed just kind of didn't. And that might have been the 3D doing it, because I felt they were kind of muddled and a little hard to follow sometimes. So that's my ultimate take on Ant-Man.
Back to Matt. British humor.
Yeah. Some parts seemed like it'd be Edgar Wright, and a lot of it seemed like it was your typical wink at the audience, let's have fun Marvel movie.
Yeah, I think I agree more with that. It's like I did think that the movie wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like basically like a comedy, but it's not a comedy. It's more of a heist movie that's funny. That's also a superhero movie, and I feel like there are moments that were very Edgar Wright-ish. All of the moments with Michael Pena basically felt very Edgar Wright, where he's telling a story and the people. While he's telling a story, they're kind of breaking the third wall while he's kind of talking to the camera a little bit, or he's talking to a character from his perspective in that story. So he's holding a glass of wine, and he's in a vineyard, and he's talking to Scott Lang and saying, "My friend told me this," and then he's speaking for everyone. That felt very Edgar Wright to me.
Kind of the way they do it on the show Drunk History.
Exactly the way they do it on the show Drunk History. Yep.
They just like match match what he's saying, no matter like how ridiculous it is. And it's the humor comes from just seeing them.
But the thing, totally.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about this movie the most, because I did like it, was that the stakes are a lot lower than the other movies that in the Marvel universe. It's not like Thor, where it's like if this guy wins, the Earth will be destroyed. It's like if this guy wins, then we could potentially have a situation where there's a geopolitical climate that is not beneficial to safety or something. You know what I mean? It's like if
it's not like he's turning off the doomsday device as he's destroying the world.
Right.
Like
he's
every other
Not trying to save a giant rock from falling.
Right. It's not as literal as Age of Ultron, which Matt was just saying, where they're trying to recreate the meteor strike that killed the dinosaurs. Instead, it's like if this technology gets out there and if it gets misused, then the world might be worse. And I think
it's more of a roadblock.
Yeah, it's more of a roadblock. Yeah. Exactly, Matt. It's more of a roadblock, and they're trying to prevent it from happening because one guy has the vision that that this shouldn't exist in the world. Also, it's also very easy to agree with him when you see how Ant-Man uses the powers. You can see like, oh yeah, like this would be all kinds of fucked up.
Yep.
But it takes discipline to use the suit.
With great power, something Spider-Man powers. Stanley.
I was gonna say you could do like go into a dude's nose and make yourself big and blow his head up.
This is what I'm saying.
That
like,
would be crazy.
There's a horror version of this that is just grisly. You know what I mean? There is a horror version of this that is just out of control. So, does this movie live up to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Do you think it adds to the mythology?
I think it takes it into an interesting direction, which is because all the Marvel movies, they focus on we gotta go into space, and we gotta go outside of our world to solve this problem, whether it's another dimension or whatever. We're going smaller, and I really, really liked the...
Literally, budging.
Note not to use this as a drum thing.
By this you mean my coffee table that we're sitting in front of.
That makes noise. No, when they go inside, when you become subatomic, that's such an interesting world that is yet to be explored.
Goes a little Interstellar there.
I'm happy you brought up Interstellar because I want to talk about that.
I got the correlation. I don't know which one was, if it was kind of like, because it seems weird that they would. I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard to describe.
We're gonna get into this shit right here, right now.
Right now. Okay.
Right this very second. I'm gonna ask this question. I think we will all say yes. Does this movie kind of remind you of Interstellar?
Just that one scene.
At the end.
Yeah, just that one part where he goes subatomic.
But then that literally then in the end where he goes subatomic. But if you back it up, and for everyone who I guess who's listening to this but didn't watch this movie, there's a scene where to stop the bad guy, Ant-Man has to go even smaller than an ant to a subatomic level, and he gets lost in subatomic reality, and then he uses his weapon that makes things big to make himself bigger again.
And we've been warned about it twice in the movie about the dangers of going subatomic.
Right, because
Michael Douglas he talks about what could happen, and then we realize that his wife did that to save the world, but then never came back.
Thank you, Kev. in Interstellar, a guy has to go away from his daughter, specifically, to save the world. And in that process, gets lost in an alternate dimension and ends up helping her that way. In Ant-Man, the same thing happens, except for it's better in every way. It's better in every way. The effects are better, the acting is better, the story is better, the humor is better, the fucking cinematography is better. It's just better.
Nobody gets warned by a flickering second hand on a watch. God damn it, Christopher Nolan. Why?
I'm not sure we're here to debate whether Interstellar and Ant-Man is a,
My next question, which is a better movie, Interstellar or Ant-Man?
We all know the answer to that.
Ant-Man, in my humble opinion. But I feel like, I'm not saying they're the same movie. You can't argue that. No one's going to get sued for copyright infringement on this thing.
It's a bit of a stretch.
It's a huge stretch. But I think thematically, there's some similar things going on in both of them, where you have to do the right thing for your family and the world by sacrificing yourself and taking yourself away from your family or whatever. And just one of them is an enjoyable movie, and the other one is kind of a slog.
It seems like it's probably just a strange coincidence. I don't know if they were working on the.
Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's a bizarre coincidence.
I don't think that they saw Interstellar and they said, "Oh,
this sucks.
This sucks. We need to do the effects better into this world that we know nothing about, which is a subatomic world." So it's
Right.
same thing with.
Armageddon and Deep Impact.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling someone that script or that idea leaked, and they're like, Michael Bay is like, I don't know which one came up first, but regardless, there probably was just a strange coincidence, and it just happened to happen.
I agree with you. They just crossed some cinematic threads, some not tone, but maybe theme, and I think Ant-Man is just like a super enjoyable movie for it. So how do you think it fits in the Marvel Universe? Well,
I think it's a nice change of pace in the Marvel Universe. I like that the character is a criminal to start out with. Mm-hmm. He's not
a Boy Scout or a god.
Somebody who is actively trying to do good. It's somebody who's brought into a world of having to do good.
Kind of like, Tony Stark. He started off like a little shithead.
He's a man of unlimited resources, though, and Scott Lang is not. Like, he's just an average Joe. I think it's going to be interesting how they integrate Ant-Man into the upcoming movies, I think. Because his story didn't have a huge impact on the big world of the Marvel Universe, but he gets the attention of Falcon, who shows up about halfway through, and then
right,
he puts the bead in a post-credit sequence. He puts the bead in Captain America's mind of this guy who they have.
Well, in the end of the movie, Michael Pena is telling a story about how his friend, through a bartender, met this girl who met the Falcon. What was the question that the Falcon asked him? Do I know this guy, or does he want to join the Avengers? What was the question?
I don't know. I forgot. So
Matt, did you pick up on that?
Kinda. I think the whole thing they were driving at was that they wanted to. When I think about it, I really don't know. That was a little over my head.
Because he was doing that. Because Michael Pena was doing that thing where he's like, and I know a girl, and she said this, and the guy says this, and it's really fast and funny. But in the end, I was like, wait, what did we agree to or disagree to, or
exactly
what was the stakes here? I think so. According to Wikipedia, Pym wonders if his wife and Lewis later approaches Lang, informing him that Wilson is looking for him. So, just that they're looking for him. Okay,
all right,
that's fair. So, I guess the broader implication for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that this guy is going to become an Avenger.
Yeah, but on which side? Don't they fight?
Is he gonna be? Is he gonna be on Captain America's side? Or is
make sure I wasn't sure it wasn't crazy here.
I was waiting for you to finish. I thought you were gonna finish your thought.
They all end up fighting each other. Call it the Civil War.
Truth be told, I wanted an NWO Wolfpack versus Hollywood reference here. Too sweet, guys. It's too sweet. Too sweet me. Come on.
That one was lost on me.
Too sweet. Alright. So now that this has been completely derailed. So yeah, I feel like Kevin Feige said that this is the end of Phase 2 and the beginning of Phase 3, but I feel like that's really not... It's not. It didn't feel like it's the end of anything. It doesn't feel like...
Yeah, the individual Ant-Man story didn't, It didn't draw Thanos out. It didn't do anything major.
And he wasn't recruited to
that
one side of a debate or another.
So it's
Maybe it's the last.
again a nice change of pace, I think, of just not having this huge world-ending thing be the focus of anything. It's just a nice personal story, I think, of Scott Lang. So, and Hank Pym too.
Yeah.
Well,
Hank Boy Pym.
I mean, could it be that this is the last of the Marvel heroes to come together? Like he's.
I mean, we got Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange on the way,
And Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man.
When they're going to be in the next one.
Well, next up is Captain America 3.
Right. So I think that to prepare for Captain America 3, I think Ant-Man was the last piece in that puzzle. Maybe
He's the last hero that'll probably be in that movie. You know what I mean? To round out the cast, of the Falcon and the Scarlet Witch and fucking War Machine and everybody. But they didn't really set up that movie in terms of whose side is he going to be on, what the plot of that movie. There's no tease into that movie in terms of anything concrete, which is actually kind of a nice thing, I think, in a way, because the movies that I think the weakest Marvel movies are the ones that take too much time to set up other things and aren't exactly and aren't really their own thing. You know what I mean? So this was really its own thing. It doesn't feel like the end of anything. It doesn't feel like the beginning of anything. It just feels like Scott Lang's story.
It's a self-contained story,
right? Which I think is good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that aspect of it.
And I talked about this in the first half. I really hope Marvel gets back to that. World building is exhausting.
Yeah.
Yes, well, we got three beat 'em up war movies coming up, so hopefully, I don't know.
They're getting your money regardless. So
Yeah, they get my money regardless. So
whether you like it or not, they're taking it. They are taking it and they are running.
Disney is winning the movies. Winning.
That wheel's turning.
I'm waiting for an Ant-Man ride at Disney World.
Okay, let's talk about A, that third act, and B, the middle of the movie. Start with B. The middle of the movie, where they're in the Pym factory and they're like riding ants. Also, I know this is gonna be a nitpick, but fucking ants are gross, bro. Ugh, so gross. Bugs. Ugh. Didn't think that was gonna be an issue. It didn't even cross my mind. But then in the movie, I'm like, ugh, bugs. Yeah.
So when the ant got big, that just...
Oh my god, that's like my nightmare, dude. Did not like that at all.
You, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that scar you for life with the huge ant?
I think when I was a kid, I was much more receptive to creepy crawly things.
Okay.
Like the idea of like catching a lizard or like touching a roly-poly now is like disgusting to me. But as a kid, I was totally down for all that shit. Risking getting salmonella from those lizards. What? So...
News to me.
Don't lizards have salmonella? Didn't someone say that? Or is that a thing that came out recently? People get salmonella from like lizards?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Wash your hands, kids.
Don't play with lizards.
And don't play with lizards. Leave them be. Oh yeah. So the middle of the movie, so they're sabotaging the plant. They're like frying all of the hardware, and he's flying through, and it's all electrical and stuff. That would make a great Star Tours-esque ride, right?
Oh yeah. No
Yeah.
question.
No question, right?
A motion simulator. Yeah, that's a logical progression of that entity.
Yeah,
ride.
indeed. So I want to talk about the third act. So bad guy all of his technology is defeated. Now he wants revenge. He goes after Scott Lang's kid. Go ahead.
Sorry, that was the Wasp.
Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket.
Yellow
The Wasp
Jacket.
is the lady one.
Yep.
Couldn't they?
Too many bug names.
Lady,
No, what-
Lady Ant, maybe?
Well-
Lady Ant.
What's comparable?
Queen ant?
What's comparable to an ant, but it's not like a bee or a yellow jacket or a wasp?
So another bug.
Another bug. It just seems confusing when you have the bad guys.
What's the red one with the spots?
Ladybug.
Ladybug? Would you want ladybug? Too literal?
It might be too on the nose with the ladybug, but it does seem a better fit. I'm not here to nitpick. That's fine. The suit looked fine. Moving on.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that was the yellow jacket. Okay,
Yellow Jacket, Wasp, Ant-Man, Ant-Man 2, Wasp 2. The ending fight. So one thing I liked about this movie too, again, with the stakes being smaller. Okay, so normally in a movie, you escalate everything, right? So you have your first action scene, and then the second action scene is bigger, and the third action scene is bigger, and then the finale scene is like the big fight, right? And it's scaled up. So it would be so to take Avengers as an example, you fight Ultron when he's like a decrepit robot, then you fight a bunch of him, and then the last fight is you versus 1,000 of him, right? And so you keep moving it up and whatever. This movie goes the opposite way, where it goes back down. You know what I mean? Like the end fight, they're both small, so they're in terms of
The entire third act takes place in a suitcase, a swimming pool,
in a small girl's bedroom.
and a girl's bedroom.
So when they fight on the train set, right? It's a very literally small fight. It's one-on-one. It's not like there's more dudes get added to it, and then with the ants, obviously, but and then they're throwing around like blocks and shit. You know what I mean? It's
and
just,
Thomas the Train.
yeah, it's just hilarious. Like I don't know, I love that where it built up and then it goes back down to make it more of a personal fight. Like that a lot.
Yeah, no, that scene was really inspired, and I really liked it. And yeah, the perfect amount of like showing it at their level, and it is this colossal fight.
Yeah,
where
the train's coming barreling down
they're
at you.
throwing things,
Yeah.
the ants are doing things, and then it's the perfect little cuts of like this fight is really small. It looks really
Right.
silly.
No more better encapsulated when the dude is about to get by a train. He puts his arms up like he's about to die, and then basically you just see a toy train get derailed and fall over like total schlub.
I wish that shot wasn't in the trailer. I
Yeah,
wish it
yeah,
wasn't.
yeah,
That would have been such a great joke scene.
But what wasn't in the trailer is when he throws the
discs.
the disc that makes things big at Thomas the Tank Engine, and it makes it big and it flies out the window and it falls onto the street.
Crushes a cop car, breaks the roof of the house. That was very inspired.
Yeah, terrible, but great. Mm-hmm. Matt, you want to weigh in on the action in this movie?
Yeah, it was fun. They didn't do the fights like clockwork like they do in the other Marvel movies, which was refreshing. I'm not a big fan of the Marvel movies because and even in the DC movies where you take a large chunk of the movie to build the backstory. I understand you have to do that when you're introducing a new character, especially like Ant-Man, but for the most part, I'm not a big fan of them spending so much time like, oh, where does this guy come from? It makes sense in this movie, but
well, they kind of do double duty in this movie because not only do they have to introduce Scott Lang, they have to do Hank Pym as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really drug down the first act. Is just constant exposition.
Yeah, because you have
And
to
also flashbacks.
And flashbacks and family relations stacked on other relations, and they didn't do it in a really elegant way.
I wish
I would disagree with that.
Piled on top.
Simply put, I would disagree with that.
I wish that they would just have him be Ant-Man and that's it. I understand that can be confusing for people who don't know who Ant-Man is,
Like all of us.
But it would be refreshing to see a Marvel movie where this person's already an established character and you don't need to spend time with backstory.
I think coming up, Captain Marvel and Black Panther are going to be that way.
Oh.
I think they're just going to start and we have to catch up as opposed to like we being Scott Lang from his perspective of learning about this. Only time will tell.
I'm all for it.
All right.
I mean, the entire first act of this was exposition. There was just no forward momentum to really get us anywhere. That really drug the movie down first. It got saved in the third act a little bit, but yeah, that first act and the first part of the second act really just not much going on.
And I think what personifies what you're saying more than anything in this whole movie is in the first act in the very first scene where he's fighting the big black guy in prison, and like, what was the point of that? It's like, you guys got some weird leaving rituals, and other than some good, we did get some good jokes out of it, but other than that, it's like, what's even happening? We could just start this movie with him getting out and meeting Michael Pena on the street and being like, all right, cool, we're straight into this. Very strange.
Yeah, it established a weak, like, Michael Pena knows how to punch kind of thing, and that was really all that whole scene did,
All right, I want to talk about the two post-credit sequences. So the first one is they reveal that there is a second Wasp costume meant for a lady, very very lady cut, and Hank Pym's gonna give it to his daughter. Thoughts on that?
I think she says the line, "It's about time."
I wanted you to talk about this
because so many people are complaining about not enough female superheroes, and Marvel has just directed that right into their face. Like, here's our female superhero. It's implying she's probably going to show up in Avengers and Civil War and all these upcoming movies. So, will she get her own standalone movie? Hard to say.
Probably.
If this movie does Avengers money, then Yeah.
Yeah, probably more like Ant-Man 2 will be like a buddy film.
Yeah.
I think that's the best case scenario.
That could be good.
But I like how playful that is in the context of a post-credit sequence, which is already super playful to begin with. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this is already, you're sticking around after the credits to see this, so we might as well kind of like give you a little wink wink, give you a little nudge nudge. Like, it's about damn time. You know what I mean? Like, I like that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And then the second one was, so that's like the credits between like the animated credits, and then you got that, and then you got the scrolling credits, and then we get
The over the line people and the under the line people.
The underpaid interns, or I should say non-paid interns.
lawsuits pending. They get so then we get some Captain America, we get the Falcon, and we get Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, whose arm is caught in a vice.
I was gonna say they didn't catch him at the end of Winter Soldier.
Right.
When did they catch him?
So
When did they catch Bucky?
when did they catch him? Why is his arm in a vice? And then they were saying Tony Stark is not going to help us, and he wouldn't if he wanted to. I might know a guy. Implication: Ant-Man. Text on screen: Ant-Man will return. I was very underwhelmed by this second post-credit sequence.
As was I.
Matt,
Okay. Well, so
were you?
the implication, I guess, is that Captain America and the Falcon and old Bucky Barnes. Wait, what happened at the end of Winter Soldier?
Bucky Barnes escapes. They fall out of the helicarrier. Bucky Barnes walks away from Captain America after dragging him out of the water. And then in the post-credit sequence, he's at like the Smithsonian looking at the history of himself and Captain
Maybe
America.
he came to his senses. I don't know. Maybe old Cap got to him, but we'll never know. Anyway, the scene that we are talking about in question is this post-credit sequence. I mean, it's going to set up the fact that Iron Man and Captain America are going to fight each other, right? Or they're going to be on separate sides of a warring faction?
I feel like we know that because we're nerds and we looked it up. Looked up what Captain America Civil War is based off of. But I guess that's implied here. I'm not really sure what's implied by this. I didn't know that. Knowing, just having the Wikipedia knowledge, I don't know if you get anything out of that sequence. You know what I mean?
So there's one of two things. Ant-Man will join on Captain America's side, or maybe Ant-Man will see that, oh, maybe I don't want to be on your side, and then he does something else. Who knows? Speculation. That's all I take away from it. So there you go.
It was an odd scene, and for me, just compounded by the fact that Bucky Barnes was there, because we never got the last time we saw him. He was in the Smithsonian, looking at things ominously, and now all of a sudden he's caught. Like, why don't we get to see that?
Yeah, it was.
I don't know.
I feel like it's a bit of a waste.
More just world building that I'm just tired of.
Stop building that world.
Tired
Marvel.
of it. Jesus.
Do you want to get into nitpicks and awesome stuff?
Let's do it.
Does anyone have anything else to say about this movie?
Other than I really like the subatomic world.
Subatomic World, very well done. Better than Interstellar.
So there's a lot of... Well, Interstellar, that wasn't supposed to be a subatomic world. It's just supposed to be some sort of crazy, wackadoo.
Some fifth dimension.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be interesting.
And it turned out to be the opposite.
That movie sucks.
It's pretty to look at.
True.
So let's count down our nitpicks.
Yeah, we get the good old clock here. Stalling for time while I search for clock. Go!
It's on the dock. Okay. Nitpicks.
Michael Pena did not like him. Bobby Cannavale, who played the cop, is a much funnier person than Michael Pena.
Interesting. Bugs are gross.
Yeah, they are gross. Had some too much exposition in the beginning. It seemed it was too easy for him to transition from being a kind of schlub to a fully realized Ant-Man.
The only thing worse than bugs are really big bugs. Super gross.
Didn't really like the villain. Thought they could have got a better actor.
Go away Heat, or just he didn't do anything for you?
Didn't do anything for me.
Corey Stoll's kind of.
He's
not great.
He's like not Lex Luthor.
No. Yeah, I talked about earlier. Action scenes just not really inspired, and they really should have been great.
Not enough San Francisco in a San Francisco-based movie.
True. Very true.
One more nitpick. I really wanted a payoff of the Baskin Robbins joke at the end. You know?
Yeah, they didn't need to double dip it. I don't think. Whoa.
I just like the idea of like Baskin Robbins being like, "Oh, do not fuck with those people," you know. And it would have one little callback at the end would have really brought that whole.
Where the Thomas the Tank Engine rolls down the hill, hits a Baskin Robbins.
Well, even like, or they find like. I don't know. They find somebody's information through the Baskin Robbins database or something like that. Just something to tie it in at the end. That like, that'd be funny if they were the ultimate enemy in the Marvel universe. Is Baskin Robbins, this great monolith.
Oh yeah, they found him. The Captain America finds him from like searching W-2s for Baskin Robbins,
Yep.
or Shield does that. That'd be kind of fun. If they wanted to pay off that joke, I think that.
I think they could take it that one step further. Thrown one in at the end there, and it would have been great.
All right, we're gonna go to moments of awesome. 3, 2, 1.
I seen Wood Harris in there, who plays Avon Barksdale on The Wire. He was one of the cops.
But great macro photography. Very interesting how objects moved in slow motion, but he moved in regular motion.
Yeah, the scale was really
Scale is great.
Right, and I think the action scenes when the scale is smaller are really great.
Yeah.
As we discussed before.
The animation of him shrinking is very unique and fun.
I thought Michael Pena was hilarious.
He borderlined on endearing and borderline on annoying at times.
felt forced.
Yeah.
But this is
like
awesome.
they just
I
wanted
mean, awesome things. Third act, fucking awesome.
Yeah. Third act from the suitcase onward is great.
Yeah. Like I said many times, Subatomic World, very imaginative, very unique, very fun.
Sexy wash outfit, very sexy.
Looking good. John Slattery coming in as Howard Stark, great cameo.
Yes. Also, seeing all of the old S.H.I.E.L.D. people. Oh no! Got an email in the middle of that.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Seeing all of the old.
Cease and desist from Marvel.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, god damn it.
Seeing all the old S.H.I.E.L.D. people was cool. Haley Atwell as Agent Carter.
She just won't die.
So take some notes, Clint Eastwood. That was some good old lady makeup on her. Clint Eastwood's old people makeup is so bad.
What movies was he able to?
Jersey Boy, J. Edgar, fucking something else. But
Yeah, it looks like little big man makeup. It's terrible.
we need to do a whole episode on Clint Eastwood because that guy.
Why?
Because there's so much to say.
man, that
He
was
was the mayor of
some
Carmel.
really good,
That's all I can say about
some
him.
really good old lady makeup on Haley Atwell. So
Well, they didn't do the old lady makeup in Winter Soldier, and they did the digital effect, which looked
yeah,
kind of weird. But
Look
what are
it
you
up.
gonna do?
Also, last thing that I thought was cool, relatively lower stakes.
yeah, I agree.
Is everyone excited for other Marvel movies? Does this affect your excitement for the ones coming up?
I feel like the only one I'm really looking forward to is Captain America: Civil War, because we are going to get that dynamic of they're going to fight each other. Like the new enemies are each other, basically. And how's that going to tear them apart? Who's going to side with Iron Man? Who's going to side with Captain America? That could be
That's a very interesting.
that could be the kick in the ass that the MCU really needs right now. I think.
I think my level of interest is maintained. I don't think it went down. I don't think it went up. I think it's just smooth sailing right now.
They're gonna give you the same thing throughout the years. I don't think that they're gonna try to raise the stakes, but the stakes are still gonna be kind of, and the expectation is gonna be the same. You're gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, unless they pull like a Dark Knight out of their hat and be like, holy shit. But I think that they're too focused on being the fun ones.
Speaking of which, so speaking of what is to come, give me your sequel pitches of what's going to happen in the Winter Soldier movie, the Captain America 3 movie.
Are we going to talk about Ant-Man?
Yeah.
No, that's
When does it become Captain America?
the next movie is we can't. Ant-Man 2 is not even on the slate until 2020 or whatever. So I mean, that's like how many Thanos will be already defeated. There's so much stuff have already happened. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So you gotta kind of, we can't. I would love to do that, but it's not in the schedule, bro.
That's true.
It's not on the schedule. So the next movie on the schedule is Cap 3.
So yeah, I think Captain America and Iron Man will be at odds with each other in terms of, because the government will throw down this new legislation of like superheroes need to do this, and this, whatever they need. Cap will fall on one side, Iron Man will fall on the other. I think Ant-Man will go with Iron Man's side potentially, but also Hank Pym did not like wasn't a big fan
Starks.
of Stark, so he might go to Captain America. It's hard to say though.
I should have before you said this. I should have said on the Shield show. There's basically a bunch of people who are like mutants. You know, the X-Men.
Right.
They're the Inhumans. So they basically an alien race empowers them. But a certain amount of people are empowered with special powers that are just like mutant stuff for legal purposes. I can't say mutants. So that's what. There's a whole group of people in America and around the world that are gonna have superpowers.
I really hope I don't have to watch that show to enjoy the next movie.
I don't think you will.
God, so exhausting.
Yes, it is. Winter Soldier. I had a great one for Ant-Man too, but I'll save it. I'll save it. Don't worry.
You'll try to pitch that to Kevin Feige.
And Judd Apatow do a crossover.
I feel like the female part's already underwritten. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So what probably will happen is there'll be the warring factions. Ant-Man will be on one side and his girlfriend will be on the other, and it'll just be clash of.
Oh, I like this. I like this.
I like that.
I mean, it's not me trying to be creative. This is probably where they're gonna go. They want that dynamicism, and apparently Captain America versus Iron Man isn't enough. So they gotta put them against each other.
I like that though. I like that.
All right.
I sure hope no matter what, Michael Douglas comes back. He was really good.
If he's anything like Kirk Douglas, he'll live for another 100 years. So
True. He'll just keep on.
He ain't going nowhere. So
I enjoyed Michael Douglas and his performance.
can I just say at first I thought it was a mistake because he had the earpiece in his ear. I'm like, oh, is Michael Douglas losing his hearing? What's going on? And they explained it was just a
Ants.
ant thing. I'm like, ooh, I feel kind of sad about that.
Also, for as much as you guys criticize the exposition, that was glossed over without a second thought. Oh, I use this for Sonic whatever's something ants. What?
Yep.
You control ants with your earpiece through your thoughts? Okay.
It also has a goddamn shrinking suit. So I don't.
I agree with you. I'm just making a joke because they glossed over that, and I was like, great. I don't even know.
I'm sold on it already. You don't need to talk about it.
We need 20 minutes of daddy-daughter bullshit, and then it's like, oh yeah, I have a suit that shrinks, and it's this potion that does it.
That's the most easy part to believe. So my pitch is the same as your guys' pitch. I'm gonna steal Matt's idea that the Wasp and the Ant-Man are on two separate sides. But my pitch is different in that I think that movie climaxes with the death of Tony Stark.
Ooh, could be cool.
And we're gonna throw his pepper pots in the fire too, just because those contracts are up.
She's on food stamps now, so it's rough for her.
Yep, then it's only gonna get rougher.
So gotta sell more of those $80 white T-shirts.
And I think that's how they're gonna innovate on this thing. Is I think they're gonna kill some characters off.
Trim the fat.
Maybe bring them back when Thanos courts death? Question mark?
Maybe.
See where it goes.
Him and Darkseid team up.
Oh, that'd be stupid.
But it's not called Darkseid. It's like Dark Shade.
Then Apocalypse kills them all.
Yep.
Because Apocalypse is the best.
All right, Matt. Before we get out of here, would you like to posit a crazy fan theory, or is it too difficult given how much is going on in this cinematic universe?
My fan theory is that the ant from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I like it. Which I believe is also Disney owned.
Disney owned. I also refer to this movie as Honey, I Shrunk Paul Rudd, but we'll see if that one lands.
That was his code name.
And so to avenge his brother's death, he embarks on a whirlwind tour of the Pacific Coast, ends up in San Francisco, befriends Michael Douglas, Pym, and from there he builds up his trust since he has a rapport with humans.
Is it Anthony you're talking about?
Yes, Anthony. Anthony is the brother of Auntie from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I see.
And so then now Paul Rudd is now his friend. Mm-hmm. So crossover there.
Right. I like that. It's a little bit different for you doing a crossover. Mostly it's like, is everything a dream or something? So I like how you're branching out in terms of the crazy fan theory. I'm also going to ask for 1 minute of silence for Anthony.
Oh yeah, he died.
Got shot.
Shut the fuck up.
Got shot.
Shot.
All right, we're back.
And
Also, by the way,
Honey, I
that's-
Shrunk the Kids. Can we bring Rick Moranis into the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
It depends if his kids are in college. Yes, if they're not in college. No.
I miss Rick Moranis.
He wanted to take time off to hang out with his kids.
Or he did.
Here's another fan theory: the little boy from Honey I Shrunk the Kids grew up to be Paul Rudd, and that's why he has the rapport with the.
And he just decided to never bring that up while dealing with ants.
Exactly. He never once mentioned that he was once shrunk down to the size of an ant. Maybe amnesia hit him.
Or my crazy fan theory is that Hank Pym stole the shrinking technology from Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Ooh.
And involved it into a suit. Kind of like a yeah.
Damn.
Son of a bitch.
Deep.
That son of a bitch.
How dare you steal from Rick
And
Moranis?
then Chewbacca.
Also, that ant would technically have to have been alive for 25 years from the inception of Honey I Shrunk the Kids to present day.
It's possible. It's sure, why not, right?
I dare anybody to disprove us.
Yeah.
I wait your
dare you.
your insectoid comments.
All right.
So I think that wraps it up for this movie. Long story short, I liked it. Kev didn't really like it. Matt kind of más o menos.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Paul Rudd. I enjoyed Paul Rudd doing Paul Rudd. He's still a goofball.
Tasting like a burger.
Tasting like a burger. Done with you.
I love Wet Out American Summer. This movie really could have been innovative and a lot of fun. I feel it just was kind of pedestrian, so I was more disappointed.
Well,
than
there's-
that. I didn't like it.
That's fair, Kev. That's a fair opinion, and there's 20. They're gonna do 7 more of these, so
I know.
maybe one of them will rope you back in on
I
the good
know.
side, or maybe just your disappointment with the DC stuff will invigorate you to like this Marvel stuff more.
So
It's anybody's ball game.
could happen. So
Anything's possible.
yeah, just go see it and form your own opinion on it.
See it in 2D. You don't need to see it in 3D.
The 3D was junk. My
Yeah,
nose still hurts.
Yeah, don't give
damn
them
glasses.
your hard-earned extra $1 for the 3D. Mm-hmm. Save that money for
I'm gonna say
down
it
payment
don't
on
matter.
popcorn.
It don't matter.
See it in
Popcorn.
2D.
Yeah, that popcorn on layaway.
Yeah.
All right, we need to get out of here. So that's it. Plugs? Anyone got any plugs? No plugs.
No plugs.
Kev, for Matt, for me, for Kev, and for Matt. That's us. See you later.
All right, see ya.
Have a good one.
Okay, you guys ready?
Ready to talk.
I'm wasting time.
Hold for yawn. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
Good.
ready? 3, 2, 1.
Because this past week I've been eating nothing but garbage since like I went up to San Francisco, and then eating on the road, and then like all this week someone bought a potluck on Tuesday and they brought a whole bunch of shit. So of course we ate it all. So we had fried chicken leftovers for like the next 3 days.
So you've just been on a steady diet of fried chicken for 4 days. That'll drag anybody down.
Yeah,
That's
there's not
Strongly disagree.
That was some poor decisions.
Smokey eats fried chicken and then goes running.
Yeah, so I wake up in the morning, fried chicken, and then headphone issues, and then I go straight from my 2-mile hike.
So we did in Vegas. Our breakfast was like Popeyes every day.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It was great.
What sides do you get at Popeyes? The
I
biscuit and the fries?
I get biscuit and fries.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
All the other ones suck. All right.
What else can you get?
No, there's all the traditional Southern. Like, you have like the
Coleslaw.
collard greens,
Yeah.
coleslaw,
love coleslaw.
mashed potatoes. Yeah, but not Popeyes, homie.
Not Popeyes.
They should just stick to what they're good at. Frying.
Yep.
All right.
Fried coleslaw.
Oh, man. That would be... I would try it.
Yeah, don't act like you're better than fried coleslaw. Okay, you guys ready?
Right.
All right. Get your,
Now I'm ready.
Get your cuffs out. Okay.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Speaking Cinema, serious movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast coming to you from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Earth 100. Wait.
Try it again.
Okay. 5, 4, 3. Wait, hold on. 900. I should just write this out.
Also, we getting lightning over here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
That's
Some
crazy.
thunder and lightning.
Also, all the accidents that happened on the way here was just caused by one car.
No,
We just don't know how to
believe
drive.
it. So,
There was no collision. It was just guy just didn't know how to drive his car.
Jesus.
One asshole.
Drives me nuts.
And there was literally there was no freeway I could take that didn't have an accident on it. It was like, why? Why are you doing this?
If you look at Sig Alert, or Google Maps,
900,990.
minute it starts raining, it's like accident, accident.
Starts popping up.
It's like, good God.
All right, ready?
Great.
We're ready.
5, 4, 3. Fucking Amber Alert. What if I wasn't recording that